Once you pray correctly, the shift happens immediately. And I actually mean immediately. I hope you realize, Habibi, if you're a Muslim right now, just know that you are basically sitting on a mountain of gold, and the entire time you're living your whole life thinking that you're lacking. You literally don't realize the power that you have, man. So I'm very sorry, but like in this video, I'm gonna be talking directly to the Muslim people because I want you guys to realize the gold that we're sitting on. Because the biggest reason why Muslims nowadays, we're not really at the top, it's because we're not using this gold that we've been given. But if you look at Muslims just a few years ago, like the 8th century to the 13th century, that was the golden age of Islam. Like automatically, if you just existed, you would just flourish. Even if you were like non-Muslim. And what really is this gold that I'm talking about? Habibi, it's right here. It's salah. Salah. Can you believe if you look at like 99% of Muslims nowadays, none of us are really praying properly? And look, I'm not talking about like the little things where it's like, oh, where do I put my hands? Here. I'm not talking about that stuff, man. I'm talking about none of us are actually praying because none of us are truly getting the benefit of praying. Because you do realize if you actually pray properly, like you pray correctly, porn is going to be the easiest thing to quit. Money, the easiest thing to get. Stress is going to become non-existent. Peace is going to become consistent. I literally wrote a poem for you. Habibi, energy is going to become unlimited. Your whole face is going to be filled with beauty and light. Even your attitude is going to be so attractive to others. Others are going to literally become attracted to you without you even saying anything. They'll just notice that you're just like an amazing human being. Like you just radiate light naturally. And even your mind, it's going to become so sharp to the point that you can literally just spawn thoughts out of nowhere. And that any thought that you get inside your brain, it's always going to become best to help you in whatever present moment you're in. And why am I saying like all of this stuff right now? Like why do I even believe all of this stuff right now? Because Habibi, like you do realize Salah is not something that was like human created. So it's not something human. It's something that came all the way from the heavens. And by the way, I'm not even asking you to come and just believe what I'm saying right now. I'll just give you the exact way to actually pray properly and not the little things where it's like, where do I place the little... I'm not talking about the little things. I'm talking about the big things. Take all these things. Watch this entire video right now. Then go and apply it and then just tell me. Like, just tell me. What are the results that you get? Because I tried this in my own life. And the results that I get... Habib, I can't even begin with you. The benefits with this are actually unlimited. So again, I'm not asking you to believe me. I'm not asking you to convert. I'm just asking you, go through this whole video, implement what I'm about to tell you, especially if you're a Muslim, and then just let me know like what changes happen in your life. So what even is this thing that we're calling salat right now? So obviously if you're a Muslim, you would know that salat is basically prayer. But look, we're talking about this exact thing right here, but I'm not really talking about like every single position where it's like, how do I place my hand here? What do I do here? I'm not giving you an exact tutorial. That's not what we're doing right now. Because think of the 80-20 rule. 20% of the things that you do in Salah are going to give you 80% of the results. So I'm going to be talking about the 20% of the things. But before I even do that, what even is Salat linguistically? So it literally means three things: entering, connecting, and reaching. So the proof behind this is that if you look at things right here, so usually what we do in Arabic is that we take the word and then we just find like root words within this word. And usually these root words, they signify a deeper meaning behind this one word that we always use. I hope that makes sense. So the word salah, it just comes from the word wasala, like wa salah, which basically means like attaining, reaching, connecting, joining. Another word is the word silat al-rahim, which basically means like connecting or like combining, like uniting. The word silat al-rahim basically just means making close relationship with the people of your blood. So like your mama, your daddy, your brother, your sister, like your aunt, all these people. But the word salah, it just means combining, like joining, like uniting, and even like merging. And then lastly, itisalat, or like the word muwasalat, which basically means communication. So what does all this right here mean? Right here, like the Quranic salah is a mechanism of connection, communicating, or communion with the divine. But to make it easier for you, it just literally means entering, connecting, and then reaching. And the proof behind this is actually in the Quran, because usually in the Quran, it uses word like salluhu, which means like enter him. It means enter because you enter in another dimension. It means merge because you merge the unseen with the seen. And it means reach or like arrive because you reach a state of presence and dhikr. Dhikr means remembrance. So by the way, the entire purpose of the salah is for dhikr and presence. And the proof behind this is that it says right here, there is no one worthy of worship except me, so establish the prayer from my remembrance, like Allah's remembrance. وَأَقِمِ الصَّلَاةَ لِذِكْرِ. So the whole purpose is this. But also, here it says the believers, they gain success because they're the ones in their salah, they're focused, they're present. Here it uses the word submissive, but like it's not just submissive, it's like, yeah, you're submitting to Allah, but it's also like you're being present with Allah. You're concentrating on Allah. You're focusing on Allah. So think of it as literally presence. So in order to actually pray, well, you gotta take care of two hidden things. And I don't know why most people don't even talk about these things. Habib, I go to the masjid, and let me tell you, like 99% of the people in the masjid, they don't pray properly, man. Like, are they really in a state of dhikr? Are they really in a state of presence? You would know if they're actually focused. You would know if they're actually not rushing through the salah. Most people rush through the salah. So again, dhikr, remembrance, and presence. So if you don't, listen, this is like the inner side of salah. If you don't achieve these two things right here, you didn't really pray, man. So listen, salah is actually two parts, the inner and the outer. You guys do realize dhikr is inner, meaning you actually have to do something inside you and not just something physical. So before you even start the salah, like you know how we're basically standing? Like you know how basically when we're standing, we usually do this right here? Before you even do this, listen, stand, like don't do anything, just stand and just look at all the thoughts that are happening in your mind. Don't even start, just look at all the thoughts that are happening in your mind. And then before you even start, just realize that any thought that you get, first of all, don't try to like resist it, but any thought that you get, let it come. And then just realize that Allah is greater than any of these thoughts. That's why before, like when you do this, and then you say Allahu Akbar, which basically means Allah is greater. So why are we doing this? And why are we saying Allahu Akbar? Because we're having all these thoughts, this chatter that's happening in our mind, this chaos that's happening in our mind, and we're putting it all away behind our back, and then we're saying that Allah is greater than any of these things that are within me. So before you even start, like try to get in the state of presence, the state of remembrance. Because remember, these things are important. These things are in the Quran. If you're not having these two states, you're not really doing your prayer properly. And the best thing to do as well is just to realize that, like, as I'm standing in prayer right now, Allah is actually watching me. So it's not just me that's watching the thoughts inside my head. Allah is the one that's also watching these thoughts inside my head. And this automatically, it's supposed to put you in a state of presence. Because now, you're not really thinking of the past, you're not really thinking of the future, you're just thinking of the present moment right now. And by the way, that's one of the secrets why we're not even allowed to close our eyes in prayer. Because yes, even though if you close your eyes, you'll go to like another dimension, you're supposed to keep your eyes open and stay present. And by the way, that's why we say it's like you enter a new dimension. Because when you do this, like you just left this entire world behind and you entered a whole new dimension. It's like a union with you and the divine. And by the way, just so you know, once again, I told you that this entire act, the act of salah, it didn't come from something human. It came all the way from the heavens. So this right here is the only thing that's going to be able to merge the unseen with the seen. Like you're actually taking something from the world of the unseen, the things that you can't see, the things that are not even here, the things that are in heaven, and you're joining that from there all the way to here. That's why we say it's like a communication. It's like a connecting, like itisalat. Like, you know, when you call someone, like this is what salah means. Like when you call someone and then some other person receives the phone call, you're literally doing like a phone call from the seen world to the unseen world, and that's so beautiful. But anyway, so make sure you actually achieve these two states right here, which is dhikr and then presence. If you don't achieve these, like you'll notice that your entire salah is just going to be something physical with no benefit in it. And the sad part, Habibi, is that this is the state of most Muslims right now. That's why they're not seeing any benefit from salah, and that's why they don't even want to go and pray because they don't see the purpose of it. Now, salah contains 3 stages, okay? So the first stage is this one, and then this one, and then this one. These are the only stages I'm going to be talking about. I'm not going to be talking about like what do you do when you get up and all that stuff. These things you guys are supposed to know. If you don't know them, just go back to the basics. But it's basically the standing part, the kneeling part, which is ruku', and then the sujood part. So when you're in the standing part, before you even start, once again, I told you, it's like just literally stand and then look at all the thoughts that are happening in your mind. Some of you guys are going to be asking me, what if thoughts come and then distract you? That's fine. That's supposed to happen. That's why the first thing we say is Allahu Akbar. Allah is greater than any of the thoughts that we have right now. And as soon as you acknowledge that, like you just basically told your body that anything that's happening here, Allah himself is greater than that. And then once you do that, then you start. By the way, if this whole video right now is long, I don't care, man. I want to just give you guys the most benefits for this, because this part, like this act, this salah right here that we do it every single day. So imagine it's like you do something every single day, but then you don't get the benefit from it, and you don't even know why you're doing it. Like that's actually so sad. If you're doing salah every single day and you're doing it properly, you're supposed to transform. You're supposed to become like a new human being. Once again, I told you, like money is supposed to be easy to get, Porn, that's not even supposed to be an addiction for you. Stress, that's not even supposed to be happening to you. These things are not supposed to happen to us. But anyway, so the first part is this one, which is the standing. So the standing part is like, it's like literally you going from darkness to light. It's you entering to the other dimension. It's you going from chaos to order. Habibi, the act of standing by itself in a disciplined manner, this part alone is supposed to straighten you. Because listen, when you're standing like this right here is supposed to straighten you. So the thoughts that you're having, it's supposed to become straightened. That's why there's such a movement like this. So when we say the word like guide us to the straight path, and then if you're in the state, by the way, you're reading Surah Al-Fatiha, and then in Surah Al-Fatiha we're saying Ihdina Siratan Mustaqim, that just basically means guide us to the straight path. So it's supposed to straighten everything, like your mind, your thoughts, your heart, the feelings that you're getting, your body, like the physical. You know how if you're in the army and then like the sergeant, I keep itching this part of my head, I don't know why, but like the sergeant comes and then it's like all the soldiers are just like running around, and then as soon as the sergeant comes, immediately they stand in a disciplined manner. This is basically what we're doing right now. So think of it like your entire day is basically in chaos. Your entire day is in movement. And then right now, you just took a moment to pause and basically straighten up and stand in a disciplined manner. So this is where you're going from chaos to now you're going to order. And then you'll notice too, if you took like a brain scan and you were looking at like your brain, and then you looked at your brain 5 minutes before you did this standing part, which is you doing the qiyam, you would see that you actually went from beta to alpha. And I don't mean like you become like an alpha man. That's not what I mean. So what I mean is that your brain right here, it's like is going from like just chaos right here, and then immediately you go into the state which is alpha, which is basically like a meditative state, like a relaxing state. So beta is like awake, normal, alert. Usually it's like chaotic. Like if you ever get mad and then you look at like a brain scan of yourself, your brain is in beta mode. So it's not always like good. Sometimes it's like when you're working, or sometimes it's like when you're angry. So you're basically in beta. But then when you go from beta to alpha, if you ever want to like try to calm yourself down, go from beta to alpha. What I mean is that go and do the standing parts. So you'll notice like if your brain is actually going to go from like complete chaos, complete chatter that you can't even control, to now it's actually straightened up. So it's like, again, what's the purpose of the standing part? And it's very important to know the purposes of these. The purpose of it is guidance. That's the entire purpose. It's going from the state of darkness to the state of light. And the best way to achieve this state, by the way, where you actually feel like you're being guided, where you feel like you're going from the state of darkness to light, is to basically recite ayat that remind you of the afterlife, and then ayat that ask Allah for His mercy. And the best surah for that is Surah Al-Fatiha itself, the opening chapter. Because you know how you say it's like Maliki Yawmiddin? Well, Yawmiddin is the afterlife. So you're actually thinking of the afterlife, and then you say Ihdina Siratan Mustaqim, which is guide us to the straight path, and then you ask Allah for His help. So this surah alone actually achieves these two things. So what you're supposed to do is that when you're reciting it, you're supposed to be focused on it. Focus on the words that you're saying. Understand the words. And you do know, like, the only reason why after we recite Surah Al-Fatiha, we say another surah is just because you're supposed to like emphasize this feeling of being guided. And by the way, when you hear the word guided, it doesn't just mean like I'm gonna start doing everything proper in my life. That's not what it means. When you're guided, you'll notice that your thoughts are easy to control. You'll notice that your feelings, you don't get feelings of like depression just randomly. So guidance literally just means going from like complete darkness to complete light. That's why in this position when we're just standing, we're supposed to be reciting the ayat that take you from darkness to the light. And once again, the best surah is Surah Al-Fatiha itself. After that, recite anything that you want, just to emphasize these 2 points right here. And then when you finish this, and by the way, don't even go to the state right here until you actually finish this. So if you don't know ayat right now, like if you don't actually memorize the Quran or like some of it, go and do it. And then once you finish the state, when you actually feel like now you're going from darkness to light, you're entering this whole new dimension, then you can go into the state right here. Now listen, I found something very interesting about this exact stage right here, and it's that physically, it's supposed to loosen you, and it's supposed to stretch your whole posterior. Like this entire posterior from here, it's supposed to stretch all of this. Now listen, when you're doing this, some people usually when they do it, it's like curved. You're supposed to go like full 90 degrees. Like when you're in this position, try your best to basically achieve like a 90-degree angle right here. And what you'll notice is that, what's so funny is that this exact spot right here, like this spot right here, this is the exact spot where we all suppress emotions. So usually they say causes of back pain, the most common cause is trapped emotions. Millions of people have ongoing back pain. The major problem is that we have suppressed and trapped emotions. And we don't even realize that. Your body knows the truth. There's a book that's called Your Body Keeps the Score. So like, if you notice that you keep having like back pain right here, it's not just because like you deadlifted or something. Sometimes people don't even deadlift and then they have back pain right here. Why is that? It's because of suppressed emotions like fear, grief, shame, all this stuff. So if you look at it, the inner part of ruku', if you look at this ayah right here, يُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ وَيُؤْتُونَ الزَّكَاةَ, which basically means they establish the prayer and they give zakat, وَهُمْ رَاكِعُونَ, and they bow. But look, if you're an Arabic man, you would know that here it says يُؤْتُونَ الزَّكَاةَ وَهُمْ رَاكِعُونَ, which basically means, if you're not Arabic, just listen. Here it says they do the prayer and then they give zakat while they're in ruku'. What does that mean, bro? The whole purpose of ruku' is to do zakat. I'm not talking about the money. I'm talking about purification. Zakat doesn't always just mean giving money away. That's not what it means. Zakat, literally, like the exact root word of zakat, is to purify. Yuzakki, to purify oneself. So when you're in this state right here, the whole purpose of it is for you to purify yourself. So this is the best position to get rid of suppressed emotions, to release all these like trapped emotions. And what are these trapped emotions usually? Usually they're sins. So what do you do in the state? Well, it's easy, man. Just do istighfar. Listen, don't ever get up from this position until you actually feel light, like you feel forgiven and you feel loose. So this feeling, literally this feeling of you being light is actually you being forgiven. So you're not supposed to do this part quick, by the way. I don't know why most people, it's like when they do like all these like postures right here, like these positions, they do this long, and then they do this super fast. Because usually it's like, it's uncomfortable, right? It's supposed to be uncomfortable. When you're in this position, you're supposed to like try to achieve the best 90-degree angle as possible, because what you're doing is that your legs right here, like you're literally stretching them. Your back, you're literally stretching it. And this right here, try to straighten your head with the with your butt. Try to basically get like the best 90-degree position, because you're actually stretching the body. You're releasing all the trapped emotions within your body. And then on top of that, if you're actually asking for forgiveness, you'll notice that not only is it going to have like a physical effect on you, but also like an emotional effect on you. Once again, the entire purpose of ruku' is for you to feel so light to the point where you actually feel forgiven. Once again, bro, like I haven't seen a single person who's talking about this, and this is such a big deal. And it's in the Quran too. يُؤْتُونَ الزَّكَاةَ وَهُمْ رَاكِعُونَ. They do purification while they are doing ruku'. And it's like, what are the chances that this is actually the best position for you to like purify all these trapped emotions within you? And by the way, it's like the Western people, they call it trapped emotions. Habibi, it's just sins. Because if you're getting fear, if you're getting grief, sadness, guilt, and shame, and all that stuff, usually it's from sins. Sins that are so hidden you don't even realize that they're actually there. Some people might come and tell me, it's like, wait, I'm feeling sad, but I'm not sinning. Are you really not, Habibi? Like, you're actually not? And I'm not saying like every type of sadness. It's fine. Like if you're feeling sad, sometimes it's okay, obviously. But if you're feeling sad and on top of that, like you're ashamed and you're guilty and you're scared, that's not normal. You're supposed to clean these emotions within you. And once again, man, the best way to clean it is this position right here. So you're actually supposed to prolong this position. Stay in that position and try to perfect it and recite everything that leads to forgiveness. It's like, yeah, okay, it's like we're saying Subhan Rabbi al-Azim. Okay, fine. But stay in that position and say more things. And trust me, you'll actually feel it. Remember, the body keeps the score. The body knows this. Like the body actually knows this. The body does not lie to you. Go on Google right now. Literally go on Google. Just type in like what are the best du'at or like things to say for forgiveness. And basically, stay in this position and just ask for forgiveness. By the way, bro, like anytime I do this, like you actually feel light. And I can't explain it because you actually have to go and do it. It's like my hamstrings are so tight. And then while I'm doing this, you can actually feel them opening up. And it's like, even like this, my posture right here, when I'm trying to like make it like literally straight like this, you can feel even like the breathing is becoming easier. Like you're actually opening up. And this is so important. This lower back area right here, man, so important. Just think of it as like whenever you have garbage, where do you put the garbage? All the way in the back, right? So it's like your body actually puts all the garbage all the way here. So doing this is supposed to get rid of all this garbage. And by the way, think of this. It's like your back is towards the sky. Like this is the sky and this is the earth. So the back is towards the sky. So think of it like you're literally presenting all your sins, all your trapped emotions to Allah, and He's just getting rid of all of them because you're asking Allah to get rid of all of them. And this is so beautiful. So now basically, what did we achieve? So the standing part, the whole purpose of it is that you're supposed to have light and guidance. Once again, guidance, it's like, think of the word guidance, just like straightening of your thoughts, straightening of your emotions, having light on everything else that's going on within you. Like usually the people that can't control their mind, that their mind is always like in chaos, these people are not guided. So if you're a Muslim and your mind is always in chaos, think of the reason why that is. And then when you do the ruku' part, which is like the bowing, the kneeling, well, don't ever finish that until you actually feel forgiven and you feel light. If you don't achieve these two things, you didn't really do your ruku' part properly. But then once you do that, then you do the sujood. So this is actually the climax. So once again, this right here is when you're entering into this connection with Allah. Remember, like, what did I say? Salah means entering, connecting, and reaching. So right now, it's like you've reached the climax. You reached the state where you're calling Allah. So in this state right here, it's like, what's the entire purpose of it? Habibi, the entire purpose of this is mercy. Literally just mercy. Like, show gratitude. Like, literally say, it's like, alhamdulillah, like, shukru lillah, and then ask for forgiveness once again, and make dua. Habibi, just connect with Allah. Just literally say anything that you want to Allah, and then stay in sujood until you actually feel the mercy. Because remember, it's like, you know how here it says, it's like, wasjud waqtarib, like prostrate, do sujood, and then draw near to Allah. Allah himself is telling you, it's like, when you do sujood, you're coming closer to me. You're coming closer to Allah. So this right here is where you're supposed to get close to Allah. This is where any request that you make is going to be accepted. Remember the brainwaves that we talked about? Well, if you did your standing properly and you're kneeling, like your ruku' properly, well, right now you're supposed to be either an alpha, like alpha brainwave, or even theta. Remember what I said in a previous video about alpha and theta, especially theta? It's like when you're in theta, it's almost like whatever you will into the world, it starts happening. So whatever you ask for to Allah, or you make dua for to Allah, is going to start happening. There is no way it's not going to happen. Like, trust me. So this right here is when you're actually merging the unseen to the seen, where you're able to manifest anything that you want. Because this right now is when you're closest to Allah. And maybe when you do sujood, it's supposed to make you feel powerful. It's supposed to make you feel no anxiety. Like, you're supposed to feel confidence, and you're supposed to feel strength and no more weakness. And also look at it. It's like when you're in sujood right now, like your head is in the same line as your feet. Usually what this means is that the beginning is the same as the end right now. Whatever the beginning is, the beginning and the end are the same right now. And by the way, if you look at, I don't know, I found this picture right here, but if you look at, this guy's just sleeping. If you look at like the sleeping position right here, the head is in the same line as the feet. It's like they're literally in one line. So in the case of the sujood, it's on the ground. In the case of like the sleeping, it's on the bed. So I noticed that when you actually do the sujood, if the beginning and the end are in the same line, this is like the way that Allah made the universe, where things just recover. Things, they nourish. This is where things get rebuilt. That's why if you look at, for example, like a baby in the womb, like they're actually in a state of sujood. And that's why when you're sleeping, you're in the state because this is the state where your body is recovering. Your body is rebuilding itself. And here in the baby, the body is building itself. So when you're in the sujood, like I just talked to you about the inner part, which is mercy, but the outer part is also beautiful. It's like, if you stay in this position for so long, all the blood is going to rush into like your arms and then your head. And then trust me, like literally try this, because I tried this and it's actually powerful. If you stay in this position for a long time, you'll feel that not only will you get so much more energy, but you'll actually feel like everything in your body is literally rebuilding itself. Habibi, the other day, actually, you know what? Just today, actually, I didn't really have enough sleep. I don't know why, I just didn't sleep properly. So I'm like, you know what? I was praying Asr. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to prolong my sujood. I'm just going to do a longer than usual sujood. So I stayed for sujood for a long time. Like the blood literally rushed into my head. Like it was for a long time. And then when I finished, like, and then you get up and you repeat the rak'ah, like you go back into the standing and then the kneeling and then the sujood, and you keep doing that over and over again, but you make the sujood long. It's like the blood keeps moving, it keeps circulating, and somehow it's almost like, I can't explain science, but it's almost like your body is actually rebuilding itself. So you're getting almost like the same effect as sleep, but you're awake, you're not asleep. And you know what's so beautiful? I've always seen, like our Prophet ﷺ, they say he used to sleep very little at night, and he would do lots of qiyam. Like he would actually pray this entire prayer a lot at night. And it's like, I was thinking, but I'm like, how did our Prophet ﷺ, he used to not get 8 hours of sleep, and he would still have so much more energy. And now I actually feel like this is the reason. Again, this is only from like my own thinking, like my own like tadabbur, contemplation, pondering. It's just that I feel like when the Prophet ﷺ, he used to be in this position for a long time, like he didn't need sleep anymore. The body is rebuilding itself. He didn't need to like he's recovering. This is the recovery state. And then what's so beautiful is that, remember how I said it's like this is where you're supposed to be getting mercy? Well, if you look at the word, like the word Al-Rahman, which is like the most merciful, the most kind, and the most giving. If you just look at this word, once again, we take the root words, right? So if you take the root word of this, which is Rahim, what does Rahim means? Like Rahim, Habibi, it means it means a womb. What are the chances? It's like the entire purpose of sujood is for you to get mercy. And then sujood is basically similar to when a baby is in the womb. And it's like all of us are inside earth. Earth is the womb. We're all inside the womb, Habibi. We're all inside a womb. So when you're mimicking the same position as this baby right here, which is the sujood, the baby right here is getting all the nourishment, the nutrients, the growing from the womb that it's in. And then we're doing the same exact thing. Because you know what Allah said? Allah said that His mercy encompasses everything. His mercy encompasses everything. Once again, mercy is like the womb. We're all inside the womb. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, how beautiful is that? Like, do you understand what I'm trying to say? It's like if you're in sujood, you're supposed to have no more weaknesses. You're supposed to have no more weaknesses. If you're this person, like I'm saying, be humble, yeah, but if you're this person that always walks around and you always feel like you're less than others are all better than you, and you're just like this humble person that knows nothing, when you do sujood, when you bring the end and the beginning and you combine them together, and then you just go back to Allah, you get the mercy of Allah, then you'll notice that Allah already gives you no more weakness. He gives you strength. Because once again, it's like Allah is the Qawi, the creator is the strong. So at this point, it's like you're supposed to have physical and emotional strength. You're supposed to have the confidence. You're supposed to have no anxiety anymore. And I explained to you how even like physically, this makes a lot of sense. Like the blood is literally circulating. And then when you do the ruku', like the kneeling, you're supposed to feel no more weight on your back anymore. Most people say it's like, I feel like the entire world is on my shoulders and stuff. Habibi, the solution is just this. Go and do ruku'. Go and stay in this position and ask for forgiveness from Allah. When you do this, no more sins. And I should literally say it's like no more trapped emotions. None of that stuff. All the stuff just literally becomes like, it becomes free. The energy starts flowing once again. And then when you're in the standing position, there's supposed to be no more darkness. Like this is when you're actually supposed to have a clear mind. And then if you look right here, it's like we revealed the prayer, or we revealed what's in the book, and then establish the prayer, like do the prayer, because the prayer, it prohibits immorality and wrongdoing. The Arabic word they use is fahsha and munkar. You do realize if you prevent these two words, fahsha and munkar, which they translate it to like immorality and wrongdoing, but if you just prevent these two things from your life, like the amount of clarity that you're going to have in your mind, the amount of like just presence and flow that you'll have within your life, this is where it's like, you know, I just said it's like when you do sujood, it's like you are even not there anymore. It's just like you're getting all the mercy, the light from Allah coming within you. So at this point, it's like your brain is not really going to get in the way anymore because there's no more anxiety, like none of the fahsha and the munkar and all that stuff. So you'll be living your whole life walking around with light because you reached the state of like having light. And then it's like the same as the hadith that said, when Allah loves a servant, and then when this servant, like us, when we come close to Allah through this act, which is prayer, you'll notice that the seeing becomes Allah's seeing. The hearing becomes Allah's hearing. The hands, the action that you do is like Allah's action. The feet, Habibi, the feet that you walk with, it's like Allah's feet. Now again, it's like, it doesn't literally mean that it's like Allah's feet and all that stuff, but it just means that anything that you do is going to be infused with Allah's manifestation. It's going to be infused with Allah's compassion. It's like everything that you do right now is perfect. It's not coming from you. It's coming from a deeper part within you. And just tell me, like Habibi, just tell me. It's like if you're living in that state, how can you not 100x your life? If you're living in that state, how can you do things that don't get you results? Because at this point, it's like you're not the one that's doing all the stuff. It's like Allah is literally doing all the stuff through you. And this right here, it's like this is such a secret behind this entire world, behind like this entire life. It's like sometimes even the words that we say, we don't even plan the words. And then even sometimes when I speak, I'm like, I don't even plan some of the stuff that I say, and some of the stuff that comes out are just so beautiful. I'm like, who Who's doing that? And it's not just within me, like everybody, Habibi, everybody that comes close to Allah through this beautiful act of salah, of prayer. Once again, I told you, the shift immediately happens. And I'm literally saying immediately happens. And by the way, like, you know what? It's actually insane. I'm even looking at all the stuff that's coming out right now. And I'm like, this is actually beautiful, man. Not gonna lie. Like, I mean, the way is just, I don't know, the way it's all just explained. I kind of want to go do a ruku'. This is just all so beautiful, man. Like, I'm telling you, like, this entire act of worship, this salah that we're all doing, it's not, this thing is not human. I'm telling you, this thing is not human. And then what's so beautiful too is that this right here was not just given to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because if you look at all the prophets in the Quran, all of them, they used to do sujood, they used to do ruku', and they used to do qiyam. All of them. So this right here is like it's not even just like an Islamic thing, it's like a divine thing. And this is the straight path. The straight path, if you actually follow the straight path, listen, the straight path is not like this path where you walk and hell is underneath you and you're trying to get to heaven. That's not what the straight path is. The straight path is when you notice that your thoughts are guided by something greater than you. Your actions are guided by something greater than you. The things that you do, it's not you that's doing these things. Even you sometimes will wonder, it's like, how am I even doing these things? And by the way, did you notice that when you actually do salah, every salah is at a certain period of time throughout the day. Like there's Fajr, the morning prayer, Dhuhr, the afternoon prayer. All these prayers, they're at a certain time when the universe is in a certain state. So what you're doing right now is that you're looking at the entire universe, and then Allah's telling you it's like the entire universe right now is doing sujood to me. You as the human, go and do sujood to me. And by the way, sujood, the word sujood, don't just be thinking it's like, it just literally means like prostrating and all that stuff. Sujood just literally means when you take the end and the beginning and you combine them. So in the sun, like when the sun comes out, that's the beginning, and then when it comes out, like when it comes back, it's like that's the end, and then it repeats beginning and end. Usually it's like all the same. That's why even in the Quran it's like the sun does sujood. So sujood just literally means it's like when the beginning and the end just become the same. That's why I'm saying it's like the sleeping position right here, it's like they're literally the same. Or even like the kid in the womb, like the baby in the womb, it's like it's all just the beginning and the end are all the same. And then if you ever like go against the sujood, like if your liver is like, for example, going against sujood, it's like it's not going from beginning to end. It's going from beginning and then somehow it's getting stuck in the middle. That's why people get like diseases in the liver or any other body part. But just doing this act alone, what I'm trying to say, doing this act alone is going to make you flow, literally flow with the entire universe. You'll flow with the will of Allah. Because notice that every creature on earth actually does sujood to Allah. So right now, you're doing the same exact thing. And then if you look at every other creature, like the bird itself, the bird, usually it comes out of the nest. Like you've heard the stuff, it's like comes out on an empty stomach, goes and gets its sustenance, and always comes back with a full stomach. It's like, who's giving this bird the food? The bird doesn't know where to go. It's just someone is guiding this bird to go and get the food. Why? Because this bird is doing sujood. This bird knows the laws of the divine. So when you're doing the salah, all you're doing is just conforming to these laws of the divine. So now, once again, tell me, how can you not 100x your life? If you're living this way, how can you not 100x your life? If you're doing dropshipping again, bro, or you're doing online business, you're doing anything online business related, and nothing is working, why won't you just you stop doing the stuff and just let Allah do the stuff? So you let Allah's will act through you. And how do you do that? This right here, man. Just literally this right here. This entire salah. Such a beautiful thing, man. Can you believe it's like most people actually, they stop doing this? This is such a divine act that most people just stop doing it. And why did they stop doing it? Because they don't see the purpose of it. Like this does have beautiful benefits in the afterlife, but they don't see the benefits for this within this life. Like this exact life that we're living right now. They don't see the benefit of that. But I'm just telling you right now, it's like this, maybe this actually changed my life. Like the moment I started praying properly, it literally changed my life. Like now, it's like Habib, I actually look forward to every single prayer, and it's so beautiful. Before I would just be like, oh, it's such a chore, but it's not a chore, man. When you actually understand the whole purpose behind this, you understand the physical, and then you understand the inner, like not just the physical, like the emotional and the mental and the spiritual. You understand that, like, dang, bro, it's actually insane. And then you see people telling you it's like, oh, you gotta put your hands this way, you gotta look this way, look that. Yes, like do that stuff, yeah. But understand the purpose, man. When you actually understand the whole purpose, we'll go back to this. Like I'm telling you, this right here that you guys have right now, that we all have, is literally gold. If you look at Muslims a few years ago, the 8th century and the 13th century, between this time, again, if you just existed, you'd be flourishing, even if you weren't Muslim, because they knew how to use this gold. This gold that we've been giving is so important. So important. Now you know what you should do, because I want to end this video off with like an exercise, is that when you go sleep, the time before, like try to wake up the time before Fajr, and then do Qiyamul Layl. So all the stuff that I talked to you about right now, go and do it at night before the Fajr time comes. 20 minutes before Fajr, 30 minutes before Fajr, and then you'll notice like everything that I'm talking about right now is like the effect is going to be like 100 times more. Literally 100 times more. I can't give you words to explain to you what's going to happen. You yourself, you're going to have to go and feel this by yourself. I can't just be the one that comes and tells this to you. You actually have to get up at night before Fajr and just go and do this. Like, just go and do all of everything I told you about right now and just feel it. Like, just feel it. And then just tell me also what's going to happen throughout the entire day, that same day. And then, yeah, man, just let me know.